Hello and what's up everybody, Thunderbob here, and I am continuing my playthrough of the Ascent. I left off on that last video. I had just cleared out like a little area right over here, and then when I logged back in, it started me kind of back over, but the next step of the mission is kind of this quadrant over here. That's where I'm trying to make my way at this point. Last video I didn't have any commentary. I was still a little bit under the weather. I've been getting over COVID, but I'm feeling mostly better here still. So I'll have some light commentary while I play. So it'll probably be about 30 minutes or so of gameplay. And I haven't really changed my gear or loadout much. I just haven't found anything I liked better than what I was using at the end of the base game. I do have the melee weapon, and I tried it briefly, and it's just... I don't know if I need to upgrade it or something, but it doesn't really do enough damage with so many people shooting at you. I felt like to be that effective. We'll see as I progress, though. I think there's a couple of melee weapons, so maybe I'll find something better. Yeah, and as I mentioned in the last video, me and the family got COVID. That really sucked. We are vaccinated and boosted and everything, but it had been like 8 months since I had my last booster, and yeah, it hit me pretty hard. For like one day I was just really sick. Very bad headache, shivers, fever, like just about any symptom you could think of, I probably had it. And my wife got sick like 2 days after me, and then my daughter got sick after that, and yeah, we're all pretty much over it now, back at work and school, but it kind of lingers with you. I've just been really tired still, so like I just haven't had a lot of energy to come up here and play for a couple of hours in a row. It's like I've mostly been playing on the Steam Deck and just laying in bed and still leaving with that, going to bed at like 9 o'clock when usually I stay up till like 11. So yeah, COVID, still a thing, still sucks. That was actually our first time getting it. I have like 2 weapons I'm cycling between. One of them is very good against the robots, and one of them is really good against the humanoids. Just kind of cycling between the two depending on the type of enemy I'm fighting. There's a pretty complex damage system in this game with like different weapon types, and honestly, I ignored it for most of the game. There's just a couple of enemy types where it's like clearly one is like really useful and one is not so useful kind of thing. I felt like that could have actually been developed better. Like, I really liked this game, and there are just some things I feel like could have been expanded upon and made better in the end. Like the game world is amazing. I love what they created here, the environments and the background and the world and everything. But then they filled it with like the most boring characters and story for the most part. Like I couldn't name a single character from my entire playthrough of the main game. There's a couple of like, there's a lot of kind of cinematics where you talk to a character and they'll explain things to you, but like none of them are very interesting, which is kind of sad because like I feel like a good story in these type of games goes a long way, but the world itself made up for a lot of the lacking story, I felt. The music and the graphics and just how everything looked, just a pretty amazing. And then let's see if I can use my special here. Oh, I got hit by that grenade there, missile, whatever it was. I like these exploding bugs. I'm glad I played through the game, but I felt like the back half of it, I really skipped a lot of the side content, and like just couldn't care to do any of the side missions like after the first half or so. Like I didn't care about the characters or the story for the most part. I was playing through it just to see the different environments for the most part. Sometimes like, are there any new weapons also? Which eventually I kind of just felt like I saw everything weapon-wise. That's another area that's like could be better. I thought the variety on the weapons could have been better, and then like they're not randomized. Like looking at my loadout here, if you find this thing, every one you find will be identical. There's only, you know, there's no reason to keep more than one of them. You can see a lot of these I have multiples of. I need to sell. I've got 8 of these, for example. So once you find like one of each weapon, there's no more like hunting down. And the same thing for items. These I think were pretty much like they always drop with like the same stats, and the stats were kind of boring. Like the item system could have used some work. I don't know if it needed like a Diablo style random modifications or something, or just more of them, or more variety. But I felt like the itemization, it wasn't going for like a Diablo style loot system, but that could have added to the longevity, I felt. Is this a... Oh. I was wondering how I get over here. But if you go back, I've got a review of the base game, and it was one of my favorite games last year, even with the complaints.
Dr. Lindstrom's suite is just ahead. We're looking for 238 on the 2nd floor. Come on, Flash. Not even someone with your limited mental capacity could hope to get lost in here.
I love accidentally killing the random human people. It's just like, sorry I disintegrated you. My bad. Even after playing through the entire game, watching all the cinematics, I'm still not 100% sure what the story was all about. Like, so there was a corporation who ran this arcology, basically, and they disappeared or got destroyed, and then, like, the rest of the game is other megacorps basically coming in and trying to take over in their absence, and you're just a regular dude who somehow becomes like as you saw in that beginning video, they're like, say their corps have all these badasses and we've got like just you, and that's what it felt like. Without much reasoning, you are the solution to every problem. Protectors. So I get some new pants. And I don't even remember what I was going for is the problem. And it's just like, I haven't had any problems. Like, I haven't really looked too closely at stuff as they've been dropping. It just dropped. Give me more of this, more physical, less energy, equal amount of digital and fire protection, same attributes. I would lose some vital sign and some critical hit, so I'm gonna keep what I got. Let's see where I'm supposed to be going. I'll probably play about 30 to 45 minutes in this session. Yep. Get over there. I didn't see this little door here, I'm dumb. That's another thing I feel like could use some work, is the map is kind of terrible. Like, just for finding, even in this small zone, like, you could be here and you're trying to find this, and it can be impossible sometimes. If we get through. I guess I gotta shoot my way through. I love the destruction, that's crazy. It is a really nice looking game. As far as like customization, you've got 3 armor slots, a helm, chest, legs, and then for your loadout you get 2 weapons, like a main and a secondary, and then like a tactical ability, which mine is that rejuve field. You get things like turrets, frag grenades. There's not a lot of healing capabilities in the game, so that's why I've been running the rejuve. And then you've got 2 slots. These are like active abilities. That's my spider and my neutrino beam. And a lot of these just didn't seem as powerful. I do need to go through. I know that they've modified some of them, and I think there's some new ones in the expansion here. And then these are more like passives. So you can get like a better maneuver kind of thing. Increases HP. Recharge tactical equipment faster, so I can like use my tacticals faster. Thought I was gonna have to go up.
And here we are. Dr. Lindstrom's place.
You do look pretty awesome in this game. Like, all the armors look pretty sweet.
You know it's customary here to remove your shoes when entering someone's home. But then I guess we can assume this isn't your typical social call. Now is it? I can save us both some time if you like, Agent. If you're here for the ruby, I don't have it. At least it isn't here on me. So, now... defecting. Is that what they're calling it? Regardless, clearly the encryption at the Vert Den is a fucking joke. Which means I can look forward to how many more contractors soiling my carpet? Yes? Well, I have a few offers on the table at the moment, yes. Your coming here is a little unorthodox, yes? Sounds like you're relatively new to all this. What did they say? Need-to-know basis was... I feel for your agent. I really do. It can be frustrating working like this. A tiny cog in a huge lumbering machine. Never quite certain who you're working for, who's actually pulling your strings from the top. Hard to know what's right then, isn't it? If you never really know what you're doing, or who you're doing it for. What you're here for, the Ruby, it's the culmination of my life's work, the game changer. For countless megacycles, mankind has dreamt of... What's the matter?
She's dead.
your boots and her brains, this carpet has definitely seen better days, Flesh.
They gave me like a full level.
Lemons, throw 'em right back at the lemon giver. Let's take Dr. Lindstrom's security pass. It'll let us walk right into BioChoice Pharma. As far as first dates go, that definitely could have gone better.
Yep. Yep, I agree. It's such a good looking game. But like the characters and the story, it reminds me, the game that comes to mind is XCOM, like XCOM 1 and 2, the newer ones, where there is a story and there are specific characters, but they feel much more like archetypes. Like there's no real, I don't know, like there's no named character that I can like attach myself to and really care about. Still wants me up here for some reason. Thought I... Or is it downstairs? Excuse me. This cough is like the only thing lingering. I really like that game a lot too, but it tried to also like tell a story that I felt was totally like unnecessary.
Look at that. She's so much younger in her security photo. So much more alive. Who knew being a corporate lifer could take so much out of you?
You know, I've got to give it to you, Agent. Wherever you go, death seems to follow. This ain't exactly what I meant by fucking subtle, now is it? But let's not get sidetracked here. We lost the defector, yeah. But her technology is still gold. Sounds like she told you a little more than we were expecting. So, I guess you just got bumped up one level on your need-to-know basis. We need you to grab the ruby from BioChoice Pharma. Don't ask questions, don't think, just get moving.
I feel like some of the enemies had just too big of a health pool. Like towards the end of the game, it was kind of becoming a bit of a drudge.
I do apologize for the blowback, but after calibrating for wind resistance and the likely thickness of the shielded glass, well, high velocity really was the only way to go.
Ah, there he is. Devil himself. MG's head of security. Thought we'd be hearing from you.
Oh, I've been here all along, amusing myself as best I can. I'm sure you must know by now, this little errand of yours is completely without purpose. Malhorst-Gelb wants the ruby, and we shall have it. You can't possibly stand up to us.
Is that right? And what have you been doing in the interim? Just biding your time?
As entertaining as I find all this, you will not get in my way. We've had fun, yes, but from here on out, there will be only pain. The ruby will be ours, and there is nothing you can do to stop us. That is all.
Over the wintry forest, winds howl in rage, with no leaves to blow.
Oh, an educated man. In that case, might I humbly invite you to start composing your death poem?
Charming as ever. Just you keep on going, Agent. And watch yourself. This one's playing for keeps.
Like this guy here, I'm just like unloading in him for minutes at a time, and he's just not dying. Like, what's the purpose of having this much health? He's not much of a threat. He just takes forever. probably should have looked at when I leveled up my skills. I have 9 points. And how these impact you is very strange. I don't want to go into it now. The review goes into more detail on it. I did back in the day, but these can go up to 20 basically. And they're not even always clear. Like, you'd think evasion would be like how well you dodge, but in reality it's the cooldown on like your slide ability. Maybe I should actually start putting some points in there. But then these skills also feed into these attributes, which impact like your weapons and stuff. So like it does have more, but it's very convoluted. Well, I'll deal with that later. And in the original game, there were times where like the camera would change a bit like this, but definitely not to this extent. It's kind of interesting. Like suddenly I'm in like a top-down, or you're in a side-scrolling section. They do some clever things with the camera, and even more so, I would say, in this expansion. I'm not sure if this is the entirety of the expansion, this zone. It kind of looks like it. Which is... The original game probably had about, I don't know, 5 to 10 zones of this scale. But if anything, I felt like they had enough content. Like, I was happy with the price in the original. Like, I think this was a $20 game, $20 or $30 game originally. And this expansion is going for $7.50 on sale. It's $10 normally. Seems like a decent, you know, value to content proposition here. I think there should be something over here. I do think my favorite thing about the game is just the crazy setting. Like, almost every screen, every background, there's just so much going on, so many cool things to see, and most of them you can't really interact with that much. But it definitely feels like you're just in the middle of, you know, like a Blade Runner, you know, Blade Runner 2049 or something. Like, you're just a background character. Like, I'm expecting Deckard to just walk by at some point. There is a cover-based system in this game, and you can even, like, lift your weapon above it. But I mostly just found it annoying to deal with. Where'd that guy go? Like, the biggest thing is sometimes you have to either duck or lift up. So, like, if you're facing an enemy and there's a table between the two of you, sometimes you're shooting and you're just hitting the table. And then you've got to, like, right-click, which kind of picks your view upwards. Okay, it seems like it should be right over here. See how to get inside. Oh, right here. This is where that map, it kind of just takes you to the general area, and then you're kind of like just wandering around until you figure out the specific stair or ladder or like. Oh, I'm about to die. Oh, I'm definitely gonna die. Yep. I pressed forward instead of that. I'm probably gonna end this session pretty soon. My nose is kind of itching. Did it just like spawned me where I needed to go. Okay.
Pardon me, you there? Terribly sorry to interrupt, but splendid. You see, there happens to be a young woman who likes to frequent these parts, and though we've only spoken a few words, the way she looks at me every now and again. The thing is, I'm at Malhorst-Gelb. She's at By a Choice Farmer, and, well, I needn't explain to you what would happen if word got. Still, I can't stop thinking about her. You'll find her at the Ratatoskafurt today. It's one of my favourite spots.
And you run into some of these side missions. You also run into all these different factions, and it really doesn't matter. Like, one mission you'll be working for one, and then another mission another. And none of them ever hold it against you.
Stim brutes out there carry bounty. Everyone pisses some. Another. Nobody's gonna miss that chrome suck. Scumbag. Nice job.
The map is also funky on indoor locations. Like, it's just showing me, like, off here for some reason.
Here's the bounty.
You can hack everything, too. It's kind of... doesn't really matter.
I've seen your type before.
Like, why are there all these guys that you can sell bounties to? Because they all just take the same bounties. So why are there 3 of them?
Ah, yes. Just the person I was looking for. You can call me Nielsen. Yes. So it seems you have exactly the assets I need right now. Chief among them being your distinct lack of, company ties. Splendid. I'm so pleased you want to know. One look at you, and
The audio level on the voice recordings has been even more inconsistent in the expansion than the base game, I would say. Like, I turned down everything except for the character volume, and I still could barely hear that
there's
guy.
a mech factory nearby. And it wouldn't be a terrible thing, let's just say, if that mech factory were to experience... I won't need you to do any hacking, of course, nothing of the sort. In fact, we already have just the karma footage. Now, what I need you to do is convey the virus we've already developed into the mech factory. A simple drop-off. First, meet with our hacker. We'll support you from here.
So I got some side missions.
The relentless drive to climb the corporate ladder. It's so interesting, don't you think, Flesh? How the layout of your primitive biological system dictates all your actions throughout your entire life. It's like you're driven to swim upstream.
I actually think the AI character is like the most well-developed character in the game. Like, your character really doesn't... I don't remember them talking at all. They're not really a character at all. They're just like an avatar for you. But your AI buddy is like there guiding you and directing you and telling jokes and stuff. I feel like I need to go back and level up a little bit because some of these enemies are like one step away from being skulls to me. And it's just kind of annoying just to have to hold down the button as you're slowly trying to whittle these strong enemies down. So this is where I died before. Those rockets do so much damage. You hear it like on the stairs. If I just shot, I won't hit them. But if I hold the right button down, he like lifts the weapon up, and then I'll actually be able to shoot them. These guys have way too much HP. And the two weapons I'm using, I completely leveled up to level 10. That's as high as they can go. And then I got a couple that I got to like 8 and 9. So, and I think I still have some material left if I get one of the good melee weapons. So that's 160 DPS. Whereas, you know, like 1200 DPS, 600 DPS. It doesn't really make much sense to use
Head through the office spaces until you reach the
that melee
restricted
weapon.
area. Dr. Lindstrom's pass should get us through the security checkpoint.
One thing I didn't do much in this game is actually play online. Like, there's supposed to be a decent multiplayer component. I probably should try that out again. This would probably be a game like Borderlands that could be a lot of fun with a good group of buddies. There's all these characters you can interact with, but none of them really ever say anything of value. Am I gonna get attacked when I go in here? There's lots of these upgrade materials hidden around the game world too. Most of them it's not that difficult. Just kind of follow your map. I'm pretty sure I already had Ice 3. Guillotine. That new? Maybe I'll trade that. Not very sure how to get beyond here though. I can't pull up my weapon. There's some areas where it's like locked down.
Step by step, up the summer mountain. And then, suddenly, the sea. This, my friends, is the Ruby. I know you got questions, and I just might have some answers, but let me assure you, this is not the fucking time. So, given that you waltzed in there oh so easily, why don't we see if you can just pick it up and walk right back out with it? And maybe, just maybe, no one will be the wiser.
I have a feeling it's going to be more complex than that.
Fucking hell, you had one job. best get a move on then.
The melee attack seems really lame. Like, this is it. You just hold the button down and he swings like crazy. It's, yeah, kind of disappointing. I mean, it's doing pretty good damage. It's just not all that satisfying, I would say. And then when you got so many, look how many guys are shooting at me. You kind of have to shoot back. It's doing good damage though against these guys. That's one annoying thing is there are times where you just get completely locked down, and then the only way to heal is to use your. Oh, is it gonna make me redo that? I think I might be ending my session for now. I really don't feel like walking all the way back there. But I'm enjoying the game so far. Okay, I'll do my final thoughts while I'm trying this again. And we'll go back to a gun here. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. The base game I really loved, and this is more of that. I still feel like some of the minor issues I had with the game are still there. Like, the story is kind of weak. The game world's awesome. Story, kind of not so much. Some of the gameplay systems feel a little bit half-baked. Like, the melee system is just another example of that, where, like, literally all it is he swings it. There's, like, no special attacks, there's no abilities. And it just feels kind of disconnected from the rest of the game. You're just, like, swinging a sword at these robots. But overall, like, the graphics, the sound design, the music, like, all of that's really top-notch. If you're into Cyberpunk, you've ever wanted like a Cyberpunk Diablo game, this is like the closest I think I've ever seen, and closest we'll probably ever get. So many enemies. It's just a little rough around the edges. I'm still glad that there is more content. You know, I beat this game and then I really didn't touch it. And this brought me back into it. Dropped it. You're gonna have to track that guy down. This seems like a good stopping point. That was relatively exciting. And now, like, no one cares. They're like, the ruby's gone. Let's just not mess with that guy.
Well, it's just one clusterfuck after another this time out, isn't it? Sit tight for a moment. We just might have a chance at a Hail Mary here.
I sit tight while I murder all these guys. I love, like, the explosions and the crazy effects and stuff.
Make a beeline for the overpass at the far northwest corner of the Canary Mac factory. That gunship that came for you, it's flying off towards the Malhorst-Gelb military base. Security's way too tight going by there. but we found a private train pulling out soon and heading in the same direction. So get your ass over there and see if you can catch a ride. An agent, this road, no one goes down it. Autumn evening. Anything you need to do before you get on that train, get it done.
Alright, well, I'm gonna end the video here. I feel like I'm probably close to, like, the halfway mark. I might do a full playthrough of this
Truly,
expansion.
I thought you'd put up more of a fight. I was so looking forward to little one-on-one action. It's been so long since, well, since I've been able to properly test my skills.
Don't listen to him. He's just trying to bait you. The last thing you want to do is engage with this crazy bastard head on. Believe me. Just keep on going, Agent. The ruby's what's important here. Not this Class A lunatic who's got nothing better to do than murder people for sport.
Alright, but I'll end it here. I will maybe do a full playthrough of this if people want to see more. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. I love the base game, and this is more of that. So if you're looking for a Cyberpunk Diablo, I don't think you could find a better game. I do want to thank everyone for watching tonight, and have a great night.